So my name is Elodie Viala. I'm from France, from Toulouse. And the title of my documentary is World Citizens. And it's about cultural and linguistic diversity at Dickinson.
Currently at Dickinson College, we have 147 international students from 48 different countries. We have Toulouse in France, Malaga, Spain, Moscow, Russia, University of Bologna is our oldest program in Italy, University of Querétaro in Mexico. We've just started off with a partner program in Argentina and Buenos Aires.
Even small little Carlisle, we have students from lots of different countries here in this little place, and there's a concentration of international diversity.
Benim adım Duygu, İstanbul, Türkiye'denim.
我叫李真。
我叫 Lisa。
我来自中国大连。
我来自台湾。
আমার নাম অনিকেত দাস, আমি কলকাতা থেকে ভারত। Nedovay Amadou, Nebura Mali.
Ich heiße Till und ich komme aus Deutschland.
मेरा नाम अदनान है, मैं पाकिस्तान से हूँ।
Hola, me llamo Rocío y soy de España.
你好吗？我的名字叫开天成，我从上海来。
Ciao, io sono Francesco Negrisolo e vengo da Bologna, Italia.
Je m'appelle Edouard et je suis français.
Mein Name ist Malte und ich komme aus Deutschland.
Здравствуйте, я съм Диляна и съм от България.
大家好，我叫徐梦颖，我是中国学生，我是成都人，四川人。
मेरो नाम क्षितिज दाहाल हो, म नेपालबाट।
اسمي فادي صالح وأنا من سوريا.
Здравствуйте, казвам се Аврора и съм от България.
Hola, me llamo Carla Andrea Nalivale y soy chilena. Nací en Santiago.
Xin chào, mình tên là Luân, mình đến từ Việt Nam.
اسمي عفيف الرديفي وإني من تونس.
Hola, soy Julieta.
Yo soy Adrián.
Somos de Argentina.
Ik ben Vincent en ik kom uit Nederland.
Bună, mă numesc Denisa și sunt din București, România.
I was born in Chicago and grew up primarily in the northeast of the United States.
So I speak French with my students, with my colleagues, at home with my children. I speak English in the professional setting, at home also with my husband.
I'm from Senegal. I was born in a little village in a region called Tambacounda. My language is a subgroup of the Mandingo group. My specific one is called Jahanke.
I'm currently speaking 5 languages and I want to learn more.
I'm from Tunisia. I speak Arabic. It's not the standard Arabic because we have a lot of dialects in the Arabic world. French, English. I also studied German for 4 years and I studied Spanish for 2 years.
So I was born in Cameroon, West Africa. I grew up in Yaoundé, a neighborhood where 6 or 7 languages were spoken. I had to learn those languages. I'm fluent in Bambele, Bulu, Nangai Boko, and Ewondo, plus French, and just a little bit English, and Spanish too.
I was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. French was part of my environment in Canada, in New Brunswick, since I can remember. It's always been there. I have dual citizenship, so I have American and Canadian citizenship.
I was born in Santiago, Chile. I lived there with my family until I was about 5 years old. I've met people from all over the world, which is a really good thing about Dickinson.
I come from Syria, from a city called Latakia. My native language is Arabic. I pretty much speak only English fluently, but I do have some good knowledge in Greek and French.
I'm always interested by languages because I'm from Algiers
and in Algiers, my dialect, Algerian dialect, is a mixture of Italian, French, Spanish, Turkish, Berberian, Latin. The name is Sabir. Sabir was the lingua franca of the Mediterranean.
I taught a couple of times courses of Italian-American culture. It's a way to bridge the gap, because especially on the East Coast, there are a lot of students who have parents or grandparents or great-grandparents who came from Italy. They can eventually make a connection, and they can make interesting reflections about who they are and where they want to go. You realize that people here, they're not so rooted in one place as we generally are in Europe.
It's not a mere American experience, but also the global community here and the international students brought a lot for me. I have another experience, and it just broadened my knowledge about the world. Having different perspectives and all together are trying to promote cultural understanding instead of cultural gaps or shocks.
You don't see cultural differences like blaring at you, but then you realize, no, there's lots of dissonances. Relationships especially, I mean, to me it was really also about, what does it mean to have friends in America? I'm also more sensitive to what can be misinterpreted. It gives me also more doubt. Oh, did I say the right thing? Did I use the right word? Did I make the right connection? Am I reading the situation right? Am I using the right word? Am I passing the message in the right way? I always have that in me. When I started having my first child and becoming a mother in America, you expect some things and then it's not what you get. It's also probably realizing that the child you have and that you're raising will have a completely different experience from the childhood you had in your other country.
The cultural gap between Senegal and Italy is, a lot wider than the gap between Italy, and the US. So I can kind of say, like my 2 years experience in Italy sort of prepared me. It's true that there is cultural difference, but like most of the time it's just like, the fear of the other that kind of like stop us from going forward. But I think the cure to that is like being open. Tell your story, ask people about their stories, make yourself interested in them, make them count. And then you have like the click that goes, and then you have like this unbreakable bond between you.
When I actually decided to move to Greece, it was very difficult because I was at the age of 10, I already spoke Russian, there was nothing that would say, nothing Greek about me.
I feel like we can never finish knowing about the world and meeting people and knowing about other cultures, and the best thing to do this is traveling and having contact with people.
I went to the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. It wasn't easy because everything was new. The culture, foods, the way people look, the weather.
When I'm in Europe, I sort of really enjoy the sort of joy of life, the pleasure you take in small things, like in a meal, it's much more valued. In a family, the time spent with individuals, I feel like is much more valued. And my relationships get very deep when I'm in Europe, and I'm able to be very sentimental with people. And the things I value here, I really like the American work ethic. I like to work hard for what I get.
So after arriving here, I had a huge culture shock. I thought I had known enough about the US when I was in Syria, but apparently I had known nothing. The way friends are perceived is different. Time is looked at differently. Work, studying, everything. Even the shift from a society that speaks Arabic to one that speaks English wasn't all that easy. Talking made us discover all the terrible stereotypes that we have of each other, made us change them. There isn't possibly a real representative of one culture or one country. Each culture in itself is a lot more diverse than anyone might ever think it is. This is my motto in life about all cultures. Wherever you go, the culture will definitely be different. It's not going to be good or bad. And I think this is the best way to look at any culture wherever you go. Never to depend on the media in general, to tell you what to think of the other. After I came here, I was absolutely enlightened about the greatness of traveling.
I think every immigrant goes through various stages. And the first stage may be a very enthusiastic stage. It is liberating to come to a country where there's so much diversity.
About the age of 6, I started visiting my father in Germany. After high school, though, I spent my first full year in school in Germany. I attended a gymnasium. Then I went on my junior year abroad in Germany, Hamburg.
I lived in France for a long time, you know, my whole childhood until I was 21. I did live in England for a year before that, but I've been living in the States since 1990.
I was born in Genoa, Italy, in 1956. I moved to the United States. I lived in Oregon for about 6 years. And then in 1991, I moved to Carlisle.
And when I was in the first year of high school, I won a scholarship to go to Italy. And there, school is taught in English, but it was compulsory for everybody to learn Italian. I went to France for a semester abroad. I went to Toulouse, travel around a little bit, you know, to discover France.
I think one of interesting things about me is that I was born on a train. My mom decided to go and visit her cousin in Romania. So she takes a train, goes from Russia to Romania, and then I come up. I was born kind of in Russia, even because they won't take stations or whatever as a fact. My father was Greek. I was raised with Russian language. I never spoke Greek till the age of 9.
After that, I moved to France. It was easy because I learned French in Cameroon.
And, you know, it was really hard for me to